This is Parris Island, South Carolina, training ground for United States Marines. Young men and women come here in quest of honor, pride, and spirit. The training is tough and uncompromising, but all who come have chosen to take up the Corps' challenge, to try to become one of the few, the proud. The next 12 unforgettable weeks will present the most intense physical, mental, and emotional demands imaginable. Not all who come here will succeed.
So you ain't gonna make it. Ain't no way you gonna make it.
But to gut it out, to see the training all the way through, the reward is a title that lasts forever. That title is Marine. Although the Marines first landed on Parris Island in the mid-1800s, it would be 1891 before a detachment would be permanently stationed here. The Marines served as guards while a large wooden dry dock was under construction. Designated as Marine Barracks, U.S. Naval Station, Port Royal, South Carolina in 1886, it would be 1893 before the first barracks were actually built. In 1911, the Navy redesignated Parris Island as the U.S. Naval Disciplinary Barracks, Port Royal. Marines worked as brig guards under the command of the Navy. As the United States drew closer to entering World War I, the country experienced a dramatic rise in patriotism. To keep pace with recruitment and the need to standardize Marine training, the Navy turned Parris Island over to the Corps in 1915. In October of that year, the USS Parris steamed into the Beaufort River, carrying the first 750 men for the newly established training base. Just 2 years later, the first Parris Island trained Marines would see battle in the bloody trenches of France. Eventually, more than 46,000 Marines were trained for duty in World War I. Then, between 1922 and the mid-1930s, recruit training slowed with only about 300 recruits reporting each month. But after the United States entered World War II in 1941, the training pace intensified to the point where more than 6,800 new recruits reported monthly. In total, more than 204,000 Marines were trained for service in World War II, with as many as 20,000 being trained at one time. In 1946, Marine Corps leaders reorganized the post at Parris Island and decided to give it a designation that would reflect its primary mission, the training of Marine recruits. That's when it became the world-famous Marine Corps recruit depot, Parris Island, South Carolina. Women Marines are also an integral part of Parris Island's history. First arriving in 1943 as reservists, in 1949, the year following the passing of the Women's Armed Services Integration Act, a separate battalion exclusively for the training of female recruits was permanently established at Parris Island. And today, the primary mission at what is perhaps the most famous military post in the world continues to be the producing of highly disciplined, basically trained Marines. For those who've experienced it, it's a night that'll never be forgotten. The arrival at the International Airport in Charleston, South Carolina, and the encounter with that first figure of authority in a Marine uniform. It didn't take long to figure out that life was going to be different from now on.
From now on, you are subject to the Uniform Code of Military Justice.
It had already been a long day, but it was really just beginning.
Now, when you're there at Parris Island, I want you to give those drill instructors 110% at all times. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir!
Now, you wanted to be a Marine, it's time to take up that challenge.
Sometime today might be next. Hurry up! Go, get off the bus. Get on the elevator.
Seeing and hearing that drill instructor for the first time catches everyone off guard.
Your head and eyes remain straight to the front. Your chin is slightly tucked. But most importantly, your mouth is shut. You are now aboard Marine Corps Crew Depot, Parris Island, South Carolina.
It leaves you dazed, confused, and more than anything, scared, almost afraid to think of what might be coming next. As the hair comes off, feelings change, to say nothing of appearances. It's all part of making a group of individuals into a team. Uniformity in appearance is essential. Then, with the initial uniform issue, the last outward trappings of civilian life are removed. With the exception of the haircuts, the process for incoming females is essentially the same. For the first few days, it's very busy. At this point, sleep is high on everyone's wish list. But there's no indication that's going to happen anytime soon. There's apparently much to do before training really begins.
I don't care if it squirts blood out of it. Don't touch it.
How you doing this morning?
Okay, sir.
Are you having any dental problems today?
No, sir.
Wait. Now when you press this, see this? Press this to here like this.
Take that.
All right, sir.
Throw that one in the trash. 6, 2, 5, 3, 2.
6, 2, 5.
3, 2. 3, 4.
One more bit.
Sir.
The first 3 or 4 days are spent at the receiving barracks undergoing initial processing into the Corps. Part of that includes taking the initial strength test, the first of many challenges to be confronted during basic training. They have to make sure that all recruits are in good enough shape to handle what lies ahead. With that successfully completed, it's off to the training company to meet the permanent drill instructors. It soon became clear that what had been experienced so far was merely the calm before the storm.
How about, we're waiting on you, how about that truck? Until you will not do nothing, God, they're going to tell you to move. You understand that? Yes, sir!
For the next 3 to 5 days, the platoons get to know their drill instructors a little better. This period is known as forming, a time to learn the basics. Close order drill not only offers a means of orderly movement from one place to another, its more important purpose is to instill teamwork and discipline.
No, you understand that?
Sir, yes, sir!
Oh, you understand that?
Yes, sir!
You take that, as soon as that left foot goes forward, you're pivoting in my column, you understand that?
Yes, sir!
Well, leaders, you know what you're doing, don't you?
Sir, yes, sir!
It's driven home early and often that obedience to orders comes without question or hesitation.
You don't scratch your face!
This is a new way of life, unlike anything any recruit has ever experienced. Time is precious. The clock rules everyone's life. Every event has its place and time. The days seem long and unending. To the drill instructors, though,
Yes, sir! No longer! Yes, sir!
well, they have their work cut out for them. Somehow they have to take a bunch of raw, undisciplined individuals and turn them into a team of fierce fighting warriors. And they've got to get it done in 12 short weeks. After about a week, it comes as something of a shock to discover that training hasn't even officially begun yet. Once it does, though, recruit training offers a kind of progressive building block approach that breaks things down week by week. In the beginning, the emphasis is on strengthening the body through rigorous resistance and endurance exercises. The purpose of that is to prepare everyone to physically conquer the more challenging events that come toward the end of training.
All the way up, all the way down.
Most of us grew up with the same beliefs. That
Recruits are also taught early on about the core values of honor, courage, and commitment. Before leaving here, these ideals will be instilled deep into everyone's heart and mind. Also in these first few weeks, the building of self-confidence is stressed. While at the same time, recruits are learning to depend more on each other. Already starting to perform physical feats far beyond anything that was expected, by now, the thinking is more in terms of unit than individual. After 2 weeks of training, the routine is starting to take hold, and each day seems to bring something new. Today, it's the first running of the confidence course. At first, the course didn't look too intimidating, but once underway, some of the obstacles are a little harder than they appeared from a distance. In all, there are 11 stations, each presenting a different challenge, with names like the Run, Jump, and Swing, the Monkey Bridge, and the Skyscraper. And of course, the Slide for Life, the ultimate confidence builder. After climbing a cargo net about 20 feet up to a platform, you slide down one of 3 gradually descending ropes for 60 feet over a pool of water. On the way down, you have to make position changes. It's quite a relief to finally get your feet back on solid ground. Academic instruction also begins early in boot camp. By the end of basic training, every recruit will have received nearly 300 hours of classes covering subjects such as Marine Corps history and how to administer first aid on the battlefield. Since arriving on Parris Island, it's been said repeatedly that moral fitness is a key element to becoming a Marine. The Corps wants every Marine to embody solid character traits and to make those traits a part of their daily lives. The core values of honor, courage, and commitment form the bedrock of a Marine's character, a fact that's emphasized consistently throughout training. Add to that integrity, discipline, loyalty, and teamwork, and there's little doubt left in anyone's mind that exemplary behavior and a positive attitude are as essential to being a Marine as physical achievement.
Ready, go! Ready, go! Ready, go!
At Leatherneck Square, close combat training begins. Hand-to-hand combat and bayonet fighting. The warrior spirit is in there somewhere, and this training is meant to bring it out. Recruits discover, some to their surprise, that they can be aggressive when they have to be. Mixing it up with pugil sticks, simulated bayonets, can be a real eye-opener. It's up close and personal contact, a new experience for many.
Get this one! Oh, get on him! Kill him! Get on him! Bring it back!
Since the Marine Corps is renowned as an amphibious fighting force, combat water survival is also an integral part of training. You have to rid yourself of any fear of water. Before today, most could swim, at least a little bit, but this training isn't just about swimming. More importantly, it's about learning how to stay afloat in full combat gear and maneuvering safely back to shore.
Yes, sir. Merci, sir. Merci, sir. Cunningham.
Mail call. There's no greater morale boost than a letter from home. It's the high point of the day. Words of encouragement or pictures from relatives and friends can make a big difference in the day-to-day performance of every recruit.
Hands, knees, feet, quarter turn to the right, go.
With the beginning of week 6 comes the start of basic warrior training. This is one of the most adrenaline-pumping exercises in all of training. For openers, the art of rappelling is taught here. The techniques required to properly negotiate cliffs and deploy from hovering helicopters. As you might expect, careful safety instructions and detailed demonstrations are given before anyone is ever allowed to descend from the 45-foot tower. But once accomplished, there's a growing sense that self-confidence is building with every passing day.
Here we go! Here we go now!
The gas chamber. Most will tell you this wasn't their favorite event, but everyone understands how important it is to learn how to prepare for a nuclear, biological, or chemical attack. After receiving instruction in assembling, maintaining, and using a gas mask, it's single file into the chamber. After a few minutes, once the noxious smoke fills the room, the instructor says, "Take the mask off." Then, after what seems like an eternity, to put it back on again. You learn very quickly whether or not you've donned the mask properly. After a short period, it's back out of the chamber to regroup and breathe some fresh air, an experience nobody will ever take for granted again. The next 2 weeks is set aside for marksmanship training at Weapons and Field Training Battalion. The Marine Corps marksmanship program involves a comprehensive 3-phase approach. In the first week, instruction deals with safety and firing procedures, proper sling adjustments, and shooting positions. This is known as snap-in week. During firing week, live ammunition is fired from set distances on the known distance or KD course. Qualifying with the rifle is a graduation requirement, so it's essential to do the best you can. Finally, after steadily improving rifle skills during practice firing, the big moment arrives: qualification day. Following the rifle range, it's a week of either mess or maintenance duties. Some work in the mess hall serving chow, while others are assigned maintenance duties elsewhere on the depot. This is usually a less stressful part of the training process, a welcome break from the drill instructors, and it also gives them a break from their recruits. It's a good time to recharge batteries and get ready for the final push. It's called A-line, and training is devoted to firing weapons at multiple and moving targets, or to night fire using tracer rounds to pinpoint fields of fire. The crucible is the final test. It's 54 long, grueling, virtually non-stop hours with very little food, practically no sleep, and nearly 40 miles of humps, most of it with full packs. Everything that's been learned to this point is applied here, as everyone gets pushed to the threshold of their physical, mental, and moral limits. It's unit before self as teamwork and core values are emphasized over and over again. It begins at 2 a.m. during the 11th and final week of training. The last week anyone here will be called recruit. But it will be a long 2.5 days before it's over. During the crucible, the challenges come from a series of warrior stations, each named for a Marine Corps hero whose life and death epitomized the core values of honor, courage, and commitment. After the platoons have been broken down into 12 to 16 member teams, each event pits a team against the clock and their assignment. At the infiltration course, the progress is cautious in conditions created to simulate the chaos of battle. Along the way, one team member is designated as a casualty. The rest must now evacuate their wounded comrade to safety while still completing the task at hand. Lesson learned: Marines never, ever leave their wounded on the battlefield.
How are you doing as far as your buddy there?
After the event, the teams are assembled and the drill instructors discuss with them how their particular assignment was handled and how it might be done better the next time. So far, so good. Day one is well underway. In the coming hours, recruits will confront several situations which test their problem-solving and leadership skills. Above all else, it's understood that working together as a team will ultimately be the key to success. 18 hours have passed since step-off, and by now, everyone's at the brink of exhaustion. But as it turns out, there's still a lot to do before this first day of the Crucible comes to an end. The night infiltration course simulates a resupply mission, and it's very similar to the daytime running of this same course, except that now it's necessary to find both the energy and the will to continue. Like day one, which finally came to a merciful end, day two also begins long before sunrise. Working on only about 4 hours of sleep, there's no one who isn't weary, but also no one who will be allowed to quit. Patience is short, and nerves are on edge. It's time to regroup, to get it together. This is a good test to see how well the teams and the individuals are handling the pressure. Somehow, everyone manages to work through the fatigue and frustration, and when necessary, even to find the reserves to push and encourage each other. As the sun begins to set on day two, there's a sense that maybe, just maybe, the end is actually in sight and everyone's going to make it. It's probably still too soon to be thinking about this now, but at this stage, it's pretty much a lock that no one's going to give up. This has gone way too far to stop. What was started together will be finished together.
Hey, can the volunteers back get that ice man on top of the
It's hard to believe, but this is the home stretch. Only 9 miles stands between each anxious recruit and their Eagle Globe and Anchor. And with every step, you feel a little less like a recruit and a little more like a Marine.
We started together.
The chants are motivating, and they're also taking everyone's mind off the sore muscles and blisters. The adrenaline is really pumping now. It's time to feel good about what's been accomplished, to feel pride in unit and in self. Finally, the Iwo Jima monument comes into view. Just a few more feet, and everyone here can say, "We've made it." The emotion of that moment, when the flag is raised, is and always will be indescribable. But when the drill instructors stood in front of their platoons and placed that Eagle, Globe, and Anchor in all of those outstretched hands, it was like a moment frozen in time. The blood, sweat, and tears of the past 11 weeks had been well worth it. Once you wrap your hand around that emblem, you can actually feel the transformation taking place. And unless you've actually experienced the rigors of what surely must be the toughest training there is, there's no way to explain the feeling. You just know instinctively that you're forever changed. You are Marines. Following the emblem ceremony, it was time for a warrior's feast. The steak and eggs were great, but somehow, the greatest thrill was finally being able to sit and really talk with the drill instructors, the Marines who'd made everyone at that breakfast into Marines. It's now the last week of boot camp, transition week. Things are a little more relaxed, but truthfully, you don't forget for a second that you're still on Parris Island. Besides, nobody's out of here yet. With the battalion commander's inspection, the final seal of approval is still to come. Even though the title Marine has now been bestowed, everyone understands that things like PT, military decorum, and self-discipline are going to be a way of life for as long as the uniform is worn. Even now, on the eve of graduation, there's a 5-mile run. Led by the company officers and drill instructors, it's called the Motivation Run. This isn't really like the PT of these past weeks, though. It's more a celebration of what's been accomplished. It's also Family Day, and for most, the first time family and friends have been seen for at least 13 weeks. For others, it's been even longer. This day has been a long time coming. The next day begins like so many have during the past 3 months. But everyone understands that it really is different. It's the last day on Parris Island. And even more importantly, it's the day when the Corps will officially unveil its newest Marines. It's graduation day.
The term Devil Dog is used today as a friendly reference between Marines, but the nickname has a proud history. It was first given to the Marines by German troops who fought against them at the Battle of Belleau Wood in World War I. In 1921, Major General Smedley Butler introduced the first Bulldog as a Marine mascot. Now entering the parade deck is Parris Island's own Devil Dog, Iron Mike. Iron Mike is an English Bulldog who enlisted in the Marine Corps on the 1st of August, 1998. He reported for recruit training on the 2nd of October, 1998, and graduated on the 7th of December. He was promoted to his present rank of Lance Corporal on the 1st of March, 2000. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commander of Troops, Captain Cesar Rodriguez. The staff for today's parade is comprised of Marines from the 3rd Recruit Training Battalion. The Marine marching across a parade deck is Captain Schuyler Malacote. He is a parade adjutant and will very shortly give the command to begin the ceremony. His position when he halts indicates where the right flank of the formation will rest. Once positioned, he will draw his sword and supervise the placement of the formation.
Attention!
Marines have served aboard Parris Island since 1891, and more than 1 million Marines have been trained here. They have departed Parris Island for combat in conflicts throughout the world. The misty wheat fields of Bellawood, the gritty beaches of the Pacific, the snow-capped mountains of Korea, the sweltering jungles of Vietnam, the parched desert sands of Southwest Asia, and hundreds of other places where Marines have sacrificed for country and Corps. The first called upon, the first to arrive, and the first to fight, the Marine Corps, the nation's force and readiness, has answered the call to numerous hotspots around the globe, showing the world once again that the United States Marine Corps is America's premier 911 force. This island is so rich in history, so rich in tradition, that no Marine trained here ever forgets the sights and sounds of it. Marching on the parade ground are Company M and Company N. They began their training on the 12th of December 2000, and today's graduation marks the end of a demanding and difficult 12 weeks of training for them. These young men and women you see marching before you have met and mastered the challenges of recruit training. They have qualified with the service rifle and received basic warrior training. They have completed over 200 hours of academic instruction and participated in a rigorous physical training program that has developed their strength and stamina for the challenges ahead. Core values has instilled in each one of them the meaning of honor, courage, and commitment. Marching before you this morning are 293 success stories, each of them a testament to the physical courage, dogged determination, and unyielding commitment to excellence that define the title Marine. This is what they have striven and persevered for, the right to walk across this parade deck as Marines. They have earned this title through demonstrated courage and achievement, and now join the proud ranks of over 1 million Marines who have graduated from Parris Island. From this day on, they will carry the proud legacy and history of the United States Marine Corps. Ladies and gentlemen, the Marines of Company M and Company N. The platoons are being aligned from left to right in order to get them into their exact positions for the ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem. Please be seated. The parade adjutant now presents the command to the commander of troops, indicating that the parade is formed.
Report!
Parris Island Marine Band, all present or accounted for. Technicians, all present or accounted for.
3026! All present or accounted for!
4006 series, all present or accounted for.
Sir, all present or accounted for. Aye, sir.
Attention to orders! Headquarters! Marine Corps Recruit Depot! Eastern Recruiting Region! Parris Island, South Carolina! 2 March 2001! Command duty officer of the day today is Captain Wilson! Command duty officer of the day tomorrow is Captain Mitchell! By order of S.A. Cheney! Brigadier General! United States Marine Corps! Amended!
March.
Down. Out. Good. Peace. Parade! Out!
All right.
Stop. Parade. Present.
Throughout our nation's history, millions of men and women have earned the title United States Marine. Many who have helped shape our history join us here today. In keeping with the slogan, once a Marine, always a Marine, we would like to recognize them. We ask that those men and women in the audience who have served in the United States Marine Corps, please rise. Please join us in showing our appreciation for their dedicated service to Corps and country. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Lieutenant Andy Richards, the chaplain of the 3rd Recruit Training Battalion, will deliver the invocation.
Ladies and gentlemen, spiritual development plays an important part in the making of a United States Marine. This prayer was written by the Marines of Company M and N. Let us pray. O God, we gather today to thank you for the courage, strength, and patience you gave us to reach the goal of becoming United States Marines. Working together through the clash of cultures and personalities, you forged us into a team. We thank you, Lord, for being our support through the physical, mental, and spiritual trials of training. You have blessed us with loving families and friends who have supported us while we were here. Thank you for bringing them safely to share this special moment with us. We pray that you will continue to watch over them and us in the future. Amen. Thank you. Please be seated.
Ladies and gentlemen, the commanding officer of the 3rd Recruit Training Battalion, Lieutenant Colonel Clyde Frazier.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Commanding General, Brigadier General Cheney, I want to welcome each of you to Parris Island and this morning's graduation ceremony. I want to take a few minutes to talk to you about the Marines standing in formation to your front. Over the past 3 months, they have faced many challenges during their training. However, their greatest challenge commenced last Tuesday morning when they embarked upon their final journey to earn their rite of passage into our Corps. It is called the Crucible, a defining event that culminates the transformation process from civilian to basic Marine. On Thursday morning, they completed that journey and stood in formation around our Iwo Jima monument. By now, they were hungry and exhausted, yet they stood tall and proud in anticipation for what was about to happen. This morning, I am proud to inform you that the young men and women who stood in that formation passed that exam and claimed their new identity. They earned the title Marine and were awarded with the symbol of our Corps, their eagle, globe, and anchor. Yes, they have indeed come a long way. However, they did not come this far alone. And I want to acknowledge some special people who worked very hard to make this day possible. First, you parents and grandparents. You served as a role model and taught the basic values of life to these young men and women at an early age. Through your letters and phone calls, you also provided them with the support and with the encouragement they required to complete recruit training. Secondly, I want to acknowledge the recruiters back in your hometown, for they recognized the potential in these young men and women and convinced them to take up the challenge of becoming a Marine and serving our country. Lastly, I want to acknowledge the drill instructors. These dedicated professionals have been totally committed over the past 12 weeks to training, to mentoring, to transforming your loved ones into United States Marines. And ladies and gentlemen, they have done an outstanding job. Would you please join me in applauding these magnificent DIs? Excuse me for a moment while I address your Marines. Good morning, Marines. Good morning, sir. You have come a long way since standing on those yellow footprints at receiving. I am very proud of each of you and salute all of you for everything that you have achieved here during your training. As you prepare to depart Parris Island, allow me to offer you this simple advice. Always remember who you are and what you are, but most importantly, remember that you have the potential to become whatever you desire. I wish each of you good luck, Godspeed, and Semper Fidelis. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the newest Marines of our Corps.
Reviewing today's graduation is Captain Leland D. Bowen. Captain Leland D. Bowen, the Director of Patient Services, Beaufort Naval Hospital, a native of Columbus Junction, Iowa. Captain Bowen is a 1975 graduate of Mount Mercy College, receiving a Bachelor of Science degree in nursing. He was commissioned in March 1977. His clinical nursing assignments include Naval Hospitals, Jacksonville, Great Lakes, and Puerto Rico. His administrative assignments include academic advisor, instructor at Naval Hospital Corps School in Great Lakes, quality assurance, credentialing coordinator at Naval Hospitals, Puerto Rico, head staff education and training, Naval Medical Center, Portsmouth, and executive officer, Naval School of Health Sciences, Portsmouth. In June 1999, Captain Bowen reported to Naval Hospital Beaufort as the Director of Operation Medicine and provided oversight of medical care at the Branch Medical Clinic, Marine Corps Recruit Depot, Parris Island. In September 2000, Captain Bowen was reassigned as the Director of Patient Services at the Naval Hospital, where he is responsible for all outpatient and inpatient services. Captain Bowen's personal decorations include the Meritorious Service Medal and the Navy Marine Corps Commendation Medal with Gold Star. Captain Bowen is married to the former Jill Housting of Columbus Junction, Iowa, and has 2 children. Brianna, a graduate of Old Dominion University, who is currently employed in human resources, and Benjamin, a telecommunications worker. Captain Bowen is escorted by the commanding officer of the Recruit Training Regiment, Colonel M.A. Malachowski. During the pass and review, we ask that as the national colors pass before you, please rise. After they have passed, please be seated. The commander of troops, Captain Cesar Rodriguez, and his staff. His company first sergeant is First Sergeant David Pointer. The Parris Island Marine Band, under the direction of Warrant Officer Robert Sable. The drum major is Gunnery Sergeant William Canteris. First Lieutenant Sandor Martin and the graduating Marines of the 3016 series. His series Gunnery Sergeant is Gunnery Sergeant John Lupton. The senior drill instructor, Platoon 3016, is Sergeant Juan Falcone. He is assisted by drill instructors Sergeant Eric Brown, Sergeant Nathaniel Bradley, and Sergeant Keono Kim. The senior drill instructor, Platoon 3017, is Staff Sergeant Adam Criswell. He is assisted by drill instructors Staff Sergeant Blas Gamaz, Staff Sergeant Troy St. Cyr, and Staff Sergeant Rafael Rodriguez. Captain Frank McClintock in the graduating Marines of the 3020 series. His series Gunnery Sergeant is Staff Sergeant Robert Hess. The senior drill instructor, Platoon 3020, is Staff Sergeant Shepley Spinney. He is assisted by drill instructors Sergeant Jimmy Emch, Sergeant Michael Walter, and Sergeant Gabriel Macias. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honor Platoon of Company M, Platoon 3021, led by Senior Drill Instructor Staff Sergeant Edward Gonzalez. He is assisted by drill instructors Staff Sergeant Raymond Stokes, Sergeant Robert Taylor, Sergeant Kevin Kersey, and Sergeant Thurman Lofton. Captain Catherine King in the graduating Marines of the 4006 series. Her series Gunnery Sergeant is Gunnery Sergeant Regina Washington. The Senior Drill Instructor, Platoon 4006, is Gunnery Sergeant Carol Cisneros. She is assisted by drill instructors Staff Sergeant Shauna Ford, Sergeant Loretta Peterson, and Sergeant Deborah Denisard Pabon. The Senior Drill Instructor, Platoon 4007, is Staff Sergeant Stacy Polich. She is assisted by drill instructors Staff Sergeant Rashima Walker and Staff Sergeant Shauna Willoughby. Ladies and gentlemen, the commanding officers of Company M and Company N, Captain Cesar Rodriguez and Captain Maria Marte.
All right. Ah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Marine Corps tradition of every Marine as a rifleman begins in recruit training. Prior to graduation, each Marine undergoes intensive marksmanship instruction and is required to qualify with the M16A2 service rifle, firing a total of 50 rounds from distances of 200, 300, and 500 yards. Physical fitness also plays an important part in the life of every Marine. The spirit of overall physical well-being is instilled and strengthened in every recruit so that it may be carried forward throughout their career as a Marine and beyond. At this time, we will recognize those Marines who qualified with the highest rifle score out of 250 possible points, and the highest physical fitness test score out of 300 possible points in each company. The high shooter of Company M with a score of 240 points is PFC Melania Platoon 3017. He was trained by PMI Sergeant Bostic and coached by Sergeant Cole. The most physically fit Marine of Company M with a score of 300 points is PFC Derula of Platoon 3016. The high shooter of Company N with a score of 238 points is PFC Ozuna of Platoon 4007. She was trained by PMI Sergeant Carson and coached by Corporal Shea. The most physically fit Marine of Company N with a score of 300 points is PFC Fireherd of Platoon 4007. Ladies and gentlemen, the highest shooters and most physically fit Marines of Company M and Company N. The new Marines carrying the platoon guidons have been selected as the honor graduates for their platoons. They will now retire their guidons.
Center!
The platoon guidons that are about to be retired have been the identification flags of each platoon throughout recruit training. To each, the guidon is a symbol of spirit, dedication, teamwork, and unit identity.
Retire the guidon!
Lieutenant Colonel Mary Hosteller, the commanding officer of the 4th Recruit Training Battalion, will present the Honor Graduate Awards. She is accompanied by First Sergeant Stephanie Nealon. Please hold your applause until after all the awards have been presented. The honor graduate of Platoon 3016 is Shelby Smith from Stockbridge, Georgia. Lance Corporal Smith was recruited by Staff Sergeant Bradbury and was trained by Senior Drill Instructor Sergeant Juan Falcone. The honor graduate of Platoon 3017 and Company M is Carlton Smith from Washington, D.C. Lance Corporal Smith was recruited by Staff Sergeant Clark and was trained by Senior Drill Instructor Staff Sergeant Adam Criswell. The honor graduate of Platoon 3020 is Brandon Slitcher from Shoemakerville, Pennsylvania. PFC Slitcher was recruited by Sergeant Stinson and was trained by Senior Drill Instructor Staff Sergeant Shepley Spinney. The honor graduate of Platoon 3021 is Alexander Manning from Wayne, Pennsylvania. PFC Manning was recruited by Sergeant Preston and was trained by Senior Drill Instructor Staff Sergeant Edward Gonzalez. The honor graduate of Platoon 4006 is Alicia Fitzgerald from Johnson City, Tennessee. Lance Corporal Fitzgerald was recruited by Staff Sergeant Brown and was trained by Senior Drill Instructor Gunnery Sergeant Carol Cisneros. The honor graduate of Platoon 4007 and Company N is Lynette Tarver from Rancho Cordova, California. PFC Tarver was recruited by Staff Sergeant Henson and was trained by Senior Drill Instructor Staff Sergeant Stacy Polich. Ladies and gentlemen, the distinguished graduates of Company M and Company N. Ladies and gentlemen, refreshments will be served behind the reviewing stand immediately following the ceremony. The drill instructors of our graduating platoons and various officers of the command will be present and pleased to meet with you. Please rise for the Marines hymn and the final dismissal. Ladies and gentlemen, the First Sergeants of Company M and Company N, First Sergeant David Pointer and First Sergeant Sandra Torres Pintos.
Senior drill instructors, dismiss your platoon. Aye, First Sergeant.
Senior drill instructors, dismiss your platoons. Aye, First Sergeant.
The senior drill instructors will now dismiss their platoons. This is the last and probably the most welcome order the new Marines will receive from their senior drill instructors.
Ah!